Hello, how's everyone doing? Back, another video. I figured it was a good time to come on and show some records, so let's just get into it. Hope everyone is doing good, having a good weekend. As I'm recording this, it is Saturday. Hope everyone's doing well. September, getting cold unfortunately. Yesterday was freezing, although tomorrow's supposed to be 80, so not looking forward to the winter. Per usual. Keep you updated in my next video to see how the weather's going. First up here we got Mr. Don Cherry with Blue Lake. This is one I've been after for a long time. Japanese old pressing. Could never find it with the Obi. Finally found it with the Obi. Very cool. The Obi was actually inside the sleeve. I don't think the guys even knew it was in there, but nonetheless is on BYG. Not BYG actual, just BYG, but actually on BYG. If you can see the little Buddha dude. There he be. Yeah, very interesting record from Don Cherry. It's like his kind of initial beginnings of his ethnic fusion kind of style, so definitely more jazzy overall. But this came out in like 74, I think, or something, so like the year after he really got into it, but you could really tell that he was going that way. You have like Indian Navajo flute on here or something, Chinese percussion, some African rhythms, really crazy, kind of East Indian music as well, style flavor. So they do covers of, what's his name? Wow. Dollar Brand. Sorry, they do Dollar Brand covers, although kind of in more of like a Don Cherry / Coltrane-esque sort of style, so yeah, very cool. It's a live album. Not everyone digs it. Some people don't like it. I like it a lot. I think it's pretty good. Definitely not his best, but great record nonetheless. Okay, Temmie's Dollar Brand. Who else is on here? Who else plays with him? Okay, Temmie's Johnny Biani, Don Cherry. I believe that's it. Just those three, so very cool. Happy to have this. Don Cherry, Blue Lake. I hate these plastic sleeves. Always fucking end up ripping for me, so I gotta get some better sleeves. I have some better sleeves, I have to use them, but I usually keep my sleeves until they wear out. Don't like wasting money. I don't know why I'm showing this. This is just an upgrade. This was right next to it, so I figured I'd grab it. Don Cherry, Complete Communion. I finally upgraded to the OG mono. Sorry about the glare, I hope you could see that, but I had a, I think I had the Liberty pressing of it, I remember. I think it was Liberty pressing, I gotta check, but finally got the OG mono in New York not too long ago. Great record. What can I say about this? His debut as a leader after leaving the Ornette Coleman Quartet. You know, very, very good. This is from 68, or 66, I think, 66, 67, something like that. 2 side long suites. Each have like 4 different compositions, so very melodic, although yet free a lot at the same time. Very, very good. They all solo, although they all play as like one cohesive unit as well, so they all definitely give each other space to do their thing. Very, very good. Like I said, I enjoy it. Definitely check it out if you like Don Cherry. You don't know this, although if you like Don Cherry, you probably already heard this, so why am I wasting your time? Next up, Kings in Exile. I've seen this shown a few times, not many. This is on Dennis Gonzalez's Dagnum label out of Texas. If you don't know Dennis Gonzalez, he's a musician, very well known for like doing his own private press kind of free jazz thing. This fits in right with that, like I said, released on his label in 81, I believe it is. Yeah, I think it's 81. He plays on here as well as he plays on most of the records that he releases on his label. Plays a whole bunch of stuff like sax, trumpet, flute, vibes, bass. All little parts on different tracks. But yeah, very good. Sort of that private press, free jazz feel to this. Pretty exploratory without going completely crazy out there. The musicians on here didn't go really to do too much else other than working on other Dennis Gonzalez records, and I don't know any of the musicians on here other than what they did here, so look it up online. It's called Kings in Exile. Album name is Music from Ancient Texts. I don't know how expensive it is. I think it's like a $30, $40 record, but really good. If I recommend anything on the Dennis Gonzalez Dagenham label. Next up here is a huge want for me. This is a very crazy rare Scandinavian jazz record. I think it's from Sweden, or yeah, it's Sweden. I know it's Sweden. So let me just show it before I start talking about it. This is Sven Hessel with how do I pronounce this? I'm gonna butcher this. Grexik Rhapsody Novotek from 1968, private press, very private press. Like, this is just the front cover right here, just a piece of paper. It didn't even come with like a cover or anything. That's all it came with, a piece of paper and the record with no label on it. So can't get more private press DIY than that. The guy sold it himself. Sven sold it himself. It shows, did everything himself. The quality is amazing actually for what it is and how it was recorded. So yeah, so it came with the letter and the record, and then that's it. I just put a regular, jacket in here just so it have some sort of stiffness in here. But yeah, the music is fantastic to me. Side A, sort of that deep kind of spiritual jazz, which I really, really love. Fantastic. And side B is a lot more sort of like Coltrane modal jazz. Very reminiscent of Coltrane, but done very well. Yeah, very, very good. Limited to 50 or 100 copies. I can't remember. Either way, not a lot. I think it's limited to 50 copies. Or it was. I should say when it came out in 1968. So never been reissued as far as I can tell. I think a track on here was reissued, maybe on like a comp or something, from what I hear. But yeah, one of my favorite Swedish jazz records just of all time. Check it out. I know there's some samples online. Side A does have vocals, which might put some people off a little bit, but I'm usually not a fan of jazz vocals myself, but this is different. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. You just have to go check it out. Sven Hessel, 1968. Fantastic. I'll just show the name there in case I don't know how to spell it. There you go. Hopefully you can see that. But fantastic. Really happy to have that. Next up here, Walter Zuber Armstrong. Me and Chris Cole did a little trade here recently, and this is one of the records I got from him. Alpha and Omega. Been after this for a while. Not super hard to find, but relatively not an everyday record either. So 1973 on his own label, World Artists. As you can see there, he's playing flute, so he's definitely flute-led avant-garde free jazz. That's what it is. Great improvisations. Very much kind of influenced by the Chicago jazz scene with like a lot of small hand instruments, stuff like that. And then Anthony Braxton as well is a big influence on him. So he has a very good use of space in his music too. So yeah, two side-long compositions. Side A is Alpha and Omega. Side B is Meditation. And then there is the personnel right there. Oh, sorry. Let me move this over a little bit. Oh, sorry about the glare, but yeah, not too many big names, but Martin Long on piano, bass, clarinet, flute, Michael and Burnett on cello, Dan O'Brien on bass, Bill Grouse on drums, and Walter Zuber Armstrong plays bass, clarinet, flute, alto flute, piccolo, percussion. Yeah, big name in like the Northwest Pacific sort of a jazz scene back in the day, so very, very cool. And his second record on that label is actually what we're listening to right now. Same label, United Artists. That one was from 73, I think. This is from 75, called Katana. That's the name right there. Yeah, this one's a bit more kind of spacey, spaced out jazz improvisation, deep jazz, percussive, very, very good. If you could hear it. Same, I believe, players as on the first record. Let me see. No, actually different players. Larry Kenneth on violin, St. Albert on drums, conga drums, percussion, Drake Simpson on drums, so yeah, not a lot of players. Walter Zuber Armstrong was known for not playing with big groups. He's a big fan of like dual recordings and just keeping a kind of small quartet, recording stuff like that. So, but yeah, I really enjoy it. Very cool if you could hear it. Great use of space, like I said, just great improvisation. So fantastic. All his records are good, in my opinion. Check out any of them. Next up here we have some cheap heat. This is John Clark with Song of Light. It came out in 1980 on Hidden Meaning, I believe, which is like a one-off thing, his own label from New York. There he is right there. He's a French horn player. Not a lot of French horn players in the jazz scene. Brother Ah comes to mind, but other than that, I'm not really sure. But fantastic, groovy jazz. Very, very cool, kind of like modal post-bop style. Beautiful improvisations as well on this, and very beautiful cover work too. I really like the cover artwork on this. But yeah, this is pretty cheap. You should be able to find this for not too expensive. John Clark, Song of Light. There's the lineup right there. Ron McClure plays on this, probably the most well-known player, as long as, including Victor Lewis, pretty well-known as well. So. Next up here, one of my only Mexican jazz records. Fantastic jazz funk, Mexican jazz funk stuff from 1976. The name of the group is Blue Note, and the name of the record is Jazz. So, yeah, not the easiest thing to find if you're trying to look it up, as you can imagine, but there's the label. On the Discos NCL label, which I think is like a national label over there. But yeah, very, very cool. Like I said, great jazz funk fusion. Bit of Latin jazz, although more fusion-y. Great Fender Rhodes work. I'd say more fusion, more jazz funk than straight up Latin jazz stuff. Yeah, definitely leaning more in that direction. But very, very cool. Check this out if you can. Not the easiest find in the US. I had to get this from Mexico, but totally worth it. Very funky, very cool. Blue Note jazz. Very strange name to name your group, but you know, it is what it is. Another grail. There's probably going to be, I think, one more grail in this. 3 massive grails in this, but Duskfire. This is the Don Rendell Ian Carr 5-tet. So I just want to make sure I got that right. So on Columbia Lansdowne series. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Great compositions and arrangements. Beautiful British modal jazz. Don't really talk about this. Everyone probably knows this. If you don't, go check out all the Don Rendell Ian Carr records from the 60s, 70s. Up until Ian Carr went and did Nucleus, which is fantastic as well. But, yeah, this is one of the only records that I think I ever completely kind of changed my mind on. Well, I don't want to say completely, because I always enjoyed this, but I didn't like it as much as I like it now until I finally got a copy and started listening to it, and I was actually able to get an OG copy. Yeah, it just, I don't know, something just clicked for me, and I never changed my mind about a record the way I did about this one, so I really started enjoying this after a few spins, and something just clicked. So usually I can decide pretty much right off the bat how I feel about a record. Repeated listens don't really do much for me, but yeah, something about this, I just liked it more and more and more, and then I just love it. So fantastic. The first record from Ian Carr, Don Rendell. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this. Go check it out. Fantastic British jazz. One of the last black jazz records I didn't have, Mirage by The Awakening. Fantastic East Coast jazz stuff. Jazz funk, spiritual, soul jazz, post-bop. How to describe this? Hard bop at times. Very nice, funky Rhodes. Very, very cool. And the classic black jazz label there. So, been after this for a while. It always goes for 100 plus, usually more, but on the higher end of that. But yeah, very happy to have this. I think I got this from Rob, Late Bloomer, so don't want to talk about that too much, but sorry, I'm trying to kind of fly through these, so I know I like to talk a lot in videos. I'm trying to kind of fix that so that I'm not just yammering on about nothing. Next up here, Steve Reid and the Legendary Brotherhood. Wait a minute, what's that one's called? The Legendary Master Brotherhood. Sorry. So it's the Steve Reid Nova. Very plain label, as you can see there. Oh, sorry, I got a record real quick. Over. Right. So yeah, from 1976, mid-70s. Yeah, Steve Reid has been around forever, if you don't know who he is. Basically, he started out in the 60s at 14 years old, playing drums for Motown, for Martha and the Vandals. Crazy, crazy, crazy story. And then he's played from everyone from Miles Davis to Sun Ra to James Brown. He played at the Apollo Theater back in James Brown and his band. Crazy, crazy stuff. Yeah, like I said, he got his start at Motown, so at 14 years old. Pretty amazing, right? Or 14-year-old, but maybe it was different back then. That kind of stuff happened, but unfortunately, he ended up getting locked up for being a conscientious objector to the Vietnam War, and then after he got out of jail in the mid-70s, I want to say, he started up the Mustavich sound label, and then released this as his debut. So, very, very good. Fantastic jazz, nice mix of like deep jazz, funky rhythms, great percussion, great horn playing. Two horn players on here, Ahmed Abdullah and Joe Rigby. Neither of which are very well known. Ahmed Abdullah is a bit more well known. Trumpet player Joe Rigby plays saxophone, soprano, alto, and tenor. Les Walker on piano and electric organ. Richard Williams on Fender bass. Louis Angel Falcon on acoustic bass. So it makes up the Master Brotherhood. Which I don't think the players are as well known individually, but as a cohesive unit, very good. The backing band of Steve Reid, obviously one of the best drummers in free jazz, in my opinion. Just in my opinion, that is. Oh, sorry, don't want to focus, being difficult, but yeah, it's been reissued since then. Since 1976, obviously, because the original's not the easier thing to get, so very happy to have this. Very, very good jazz. I've had this for a while, just didn't show it. Got this from my friend Jeff, Lloyd McNeil Treasures. He found a bunch of these and hooked me up, so. And then I got a few as well from the same source, but very, very cool. Lloyd McNeil, one of my favorite flute players. I know I've talked about him before. I don't think I've showed this record before. I've had it for a while, but I haven't talked about it. I realized I haven't talked about it. So, yeah, flute-led, spiritual jazz, deep jazz, on top of like Latin rhythms, Latin melodies. It was fantastic. I believe Cecil McBee plays bass on this. Yep. Don Salvador piano, Brian Brake and Portino on drums, as well as Ray Armando on percussion. Very cool artwork on this too. I love the artwork on this, as well as on the front. But yeah, Lloyd McNeil, painter, poem writer. Sorry, trying to get the glare out, but just fantastic all-around artist. Like I said, one of my favorite flute players. Just happy to finally have the full discography from him. Took me a while, but one I just got not too long ago from a local shop here. Got this from my friend Chris. This is Friends. This has been on my radar for a while. I just haven't picked it up for whatever reason. You know, it's one of those records that's always around. You know, you can always get it. It's not crazy rare, crazy expensive, but it's just really, really good. So this is basically a jazz rock session. Kind of John Abercrombie and crew before he went on to do sort of his jazz fusion thing later on. This is a lot more of a jazz rock psych influence thing, I would say. Crazy shredding guitars, just great bass, very effect-driven electric saxophone. I think it's the Echoplex saxophone they use on this. Yeah, like I said, much more in tune with like psych, that style. It's not like a straight-up psych session, definitely more jazz rock influenced, but more heavily in that than I would say straight-up jazz. So yeah, I think that John Abercrombie was still very much feeling his time in the Stark Reality. Sorry, I almost forgot the name of that group was Stark Reality. So crazy project. But anyway, Mark Cohen is on here as well. Clint Houston, I forgot who plays drums on this. Yeah, so Mark Cohen plays electric, alto sax, tenor sax. Jeff Williams plays drums. Clay Houston plays bass. And then John Abercrombie plays guitar. Yeah, very, very cool. Crazy record. Not expensive at all. I definitely recommend picking it up if you can, or check it out online first. Samples is on the Oblivion label. Pretty cool label. Pretty interesting cover on this as well. As I drop the sleeve. But yeah, it should be like a $20 record, I think, $25, $30 record at most. But yeah, fantastic, crazy jazz record. And to end it off here, I just got this recently. There's a huge want for me. Another one crossed off on the want list. This is Milt Ward and Virgo Spectrum. I don't say about this. The one and only date with Milt Ward as a leader I know of. Excellent free jazz, soul jazz, in the spiritual jazz type vein, but very, very cool. Milt Ward on trumpet, Carlos Garnett trumpet and flugelhorn, Carlos Garnett on tenor, Bill Pierce on tenor and soprano, Eddie Alex on alto sax and flute, Glenn Barber on baritone, Delmar Brown on piano, Calcio Martinez on synth, Cecil McBee on bass. Cecil McBee, once again, that dude got around. He was on everyone's albums. Ignacio Mena on percussion, and the Hugh Peterson on drums. So a few big names there, probably a few that you've never heard of, a few that I've never heard of, but still the music is fantastic. High recommendation on this. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if it's been reissued on vinyl. I don't think it has. I'm not actually sure if it's been reissued at all, but as you can see, they're featuring Carlos Garnett, Cecil McBee. Obviously, they wanted to put the bigger names on the cover. So it was more of like a private press thing. It came out on the Twin Quest, I believe it's called, label, which is just like a one-off thing. Very plain label. No other records came out on this, but beautiful jazz. Definitely check it out. Some samples online for sure. And yeah, just happy to add this one to the collection as well after a few good years of searching. So, Milt Ward. I do have a few more things I want to show before I go. Chris sent me these nice books, parts of our trade. It was like an added bonus for UCLT, so thank you, Chris. Much appreciated. So we have The Dark Tree, Jazz and Community Arts in Los Angeles. I haven't gotten to any of these yet, but they all look amazing. They all have pictures and stuff, so. Arthur Blythe, Horace Tapscott. There's actually a book on Horace Tapscott as well. But yeah, this just looks awesome. I can't wait to get into this. This one actually comes with a CD as well, so very excited to dive into this one. And then we have the Horace Tapscott book next, called Song of the Unsung. The musical and social journey of Horace Tapscott. This looks amazing as well. I'm not sure when this came out. So I have to check the copyright date, but I'm sure it's his biography and then a whole bunch of awesome information. I heard these were great reads, so some pictures with the African People Orchestra. African People's Orchestra. We got here. I guess this is like some promo information. I don't even know this was in here. What do we got here? Jazz biography. Yeah, I guess there's like the promo sheets. Promo like one sheet. Very cool. I didn't even know these were in the book, but very cool. Thank you, Chris. Much appreciated. I'm not a big reader. If it comes to something I like, horror, music stuff, I'm into it. Otherwise, I get bored very easily. I know it's bad, but that's how it is. Next up, classic, A Serious Step Through Your Life, Valerie Wilmer. The History of New Jazz. I'm sure you guys all know this book. If you don't, high recommendation right here. If you want to check out a book about the free jazz, new jazz movement at the time, definitely not complete, but has a lot of good stuff in it. Definitely recommend checking this one out if you're gonna check out any of these. Although I'm sure they're all great. And then last here is Bag, the Black Artist Group, St. Louis Jazz, obviously. So, very, very cool. Can't wait to dive into this one as well. Yeah, these all look amazing. Thank you, Crystal, so much. This looks awesome. Black Artist Group, Dancers, right here. If you don't know the Black Artist Group record, I definitely suggest you go check out any of their work. Yeah, so that's it. I think I've rambled on long enough. Thank you all for watching very much. Hope you enjoyed it. So I haven't been buying as much, obviously, as you can see. It was a while to my last update. Might be a few months to my next one. But I'll be back sooner than that with CD stuff, hip-hop stuff. Been pulling a lot more hip-hop CDs out of stores if you're into that. If you're not, sorry. It is what it is, but that's what I like, so... Alright guys, thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Leave me comments if you want. Have a good weekend. Peace.